What's up, Pokerbrandon here, and in this hand I have pocket sevens, playing at the Gardens Casino, 5-5 no limit hold'em on a Friday around 3 p.m. So in this hand I was sitting at this session for about an hour. The tight regular who opens this in the low jack, I played with him before. He's a new player now at the table, but I played with him yesterday and we sat for maybe an hour and he never really opened. He played like 10 to 5% of hands. So he was pretty smart. He was pretty tight. I think he 3-bet a couple times yesterday and he got no action. So I know he's a tight player right off rip. And my VPIP, just to talk about me a little bit, was probably like 3% here. Like I'm putting money in maybe twice every hour. It's only been an hour. Yeah, I only put in maybe my money twice with 2 calls and then twice with 2 opens. So 4 times in an hour. My VPIP's probably around like 3 to 5%. So low jack opens to 25 and cut off to my right. He was probably a trying wreck. He had the hat, he had the sunglasses, and he looked like he was trying to play, but I would say his VPIP at the table was the highest. He had about a 25% VPIP, and I wouldn't say he was a pro. I wouldn't say he was very good. You could say like he wasn't bad, but he definitely wasn't the best at the table. Not to bring anybody down. I just want to speak logically on here so that you can get an idea on what I'm thinking. Now, what I was thinking here was after a low jack open and a call to my right, I'm supposed to call this a lot, and there's a little bit of 3-betting. If you look there in the middle, you see pocket sevens. This is my action on the button after a low jack open and a cutoff call. I'm supposed to 3-bet just maybe, it looks like 25% of the time with this hand. In this spot though, the low jack opener was more of like a UTG range opener, so he had a lot of strong hands. And with pocket sevens, I think I'm more comfortable set mining against that range. If you look at the same graph against a UTG open, the 3-betting is going to be way less, and I think there's even some folds for pocket sevens. But being on the button and feeling a little more comfortable with the 100 big blind stack against this table, there was not a lot of 3-betting going on. I feel fine just putting in the call, and I don't expect at all my opponents to my left, who were just tight and passive, to ever 3-bet. So I felt like we were going to see a flop, which we do. We go 3 ways to a 4-10-7 flop. And this flop is beautiful because I flop a set that's exactly what you want. It's going to check over to the cutoff, try and wreck, and he's going to lead out 40. I see a lot of this leading out here at the Gardens 5-5 with like top pair. So immediately I'm thinking he can have like ace-10 suited. He could have all the ace-10 suited. Obviously he could have like a set of 4s here. I don't think he's the type of player to do this with like 10 jack spades, 8-9 of spades. I don't think he's the type to try to lead out and take it with like queen jack of spades with a good draw and 2 overs, or just a good draw. I feel like he's more going to lean towards like having top pair, ace-10s. If he has a set, I expect that sometimes too as well. Like opponents here, when they flop their sets, they want to bet. They don't want to give away free cards. So I'm giving him a lot of the 10s here. And against an ace-10 suited type hand that has top pair and a flush draw, my set is really good to win. You can see I'm 70% to win against ace-10 of spades. So what I do though is I feel like he's the type of guy that can like marry his top pairs. If anyone was going to get married to a top pair, it was going to be him at the table. It was not really anyone else. I expect this tight regular at the top. I expect him to fold hands like jacks here. I think he was smart enough to identify how low my VPIP was and know that I'm not doing this as a bluff. And I do expect him to fold like jacks in that spot, but he does fold. I never know what he has. And I'm hoping and trusting my read that the cutoff here was not stabbing with air and that he's stabbing with a top pair type hand, hopefully a draw. And you might be saying like, well, Brandon, why do you hope he has a draw? Like, don't you not want him to hit? Well, see, I don't want him to hit his draw, right? I don't want him to hit the flush. But the flush mathematically is not supposed to come, right? My hand's supposed to win 70% of the time. So even if he has his draw, I'm not worried. So I trust the math, and I always play trusting that I want to get my money in when I'm ahead, and I'm not worried about the draws. I want him to have the draw so he feels more glued to the pot and he feels glued to putting his money in the middle. So I'm hoping he has like hands here like ace 10 suited, king 10, queen 10, jack 10. Obviously a set would be beautiful, set of fours, not a set of tens. That would be devastating. And he checks it to me on the turn here. Like I said, I did not expect him to have like 8 jack or 8, like making a straight by this turn. I expected him to more have like the 10 jacks suited here. And even on the turn here, you can see that my equity is even higher. I'm now like a 75% to win. So I'm not worried about the straight. If he does have the straight, I'm just going to pay it off here. I'm not going to fold my set to a rainbow turn card that brings in some straights. I'm just going to pay it off. So instead of caring about the straight and being worried about it and checking, which I think would be a mistake if you're doing that, what you have to do here in this spot, I think, is target what range will pay you off. All the flush draws, especially with top pair, target that range. And I think to size my bet appropriately, this range might fold to a jam. I think this range will call mostly like half pot size bets here. And it just turns out that about a half size pot bet is about half my stack. So it kind of keeps him basically pot committed if he makes the call. But he snap jams on me. So he snap jams on me. And obviously, like I said, if he has the straight, I'm going to pay him off. I hope he has the range that I put him on. And I do think the range that I put him on, the ace 10, king 10, queen 10, jack 10, set of fours, all these hands would snap jam here. I mean, maybe not snap jam, but they would jam. I don't expect him to snap jam with like 8-6 or jack 8 suited, right? Like close to the nuts, because why would he want to scare me off? You know, why would he want to snap jam all in and scare me if I had like top pair? So I really feel even after he snap jams, it's going to be less of like the 8-6 and the jack 8 that made the straight on the turn, and it's going to be more of like the ace 10, king 10, queen 10, jack 10 hands, set of fours. So even though I'm talking a lot, I snap called his snap jam, and we went to a river, and the river bricked out to a 6. I guess it's not really a brick because all 8 X's will now make the straight. I didn't put him on 8X, so I'm hoping my hand is good, and I actually fast roll him. I flip over my pocket 7s, and he does not want to show his hand. So he must have had the range I put him on, all the top pairs, maybe a set. It would be weird if he had like 2 pair, like 10-4 or 10-7. I think I played perfectly, targeting the exact range I needed to target to let him get his hand in the middle. And he was not the gamble type. Like, he wasn't shoving his stack in with flush draws, this player. Yeah, he actually didn't even go all in at all until this point. So I expect him to have like at least top pair. Anyway, I filmed the ending action. Go ahead and watch after it all happened. So I pulled out my phone and just recorded the chips being sent my way. My opponent mucked his hand. He never opened it after looking at the board maybe for like 10 more seconds before mucking. So I think I was right about the range. I really hope he didn't have pocket fours. That would have sucked for him. But anyway, I'm Pokerbrandon. What do you think?